Hi everyone. A very happy harvest full moon, lunar eclipse, and in the Indian culture we celebrate Ananta Chaturdashi today. It is the culmination of our 10-day Ganesh Chaturthi festival, and it's the day that we hold the Visarjan for the idol of Ganapati. So we immerse the idol in a body of water. It holds much significance. So this week, I'm sure we're already feeling it with the energies in flow, right? But this coming week and actually the fortnight, this waning cycle from this full moon is really big. I have no words really to say, but it just feels big. Big. It's almost the feeling of a birthing, like going into labor almost. You know, I can feel that at that point in some ways. And even these 10 days for the Ganesh Chaturthi that we celebrated, Ganesha, of course, has to do with the root chakra. Is the deity and the guardian for the root chakra. And as we know, Moola Adhara, right? Root chakra is the source. So it's the activation of the root chakra. Right? So this Dakshinayana, as we know, is all to do with our lower chakras predominantly. Right? The feminine chakras, one would say. It has to do with our body, with our lived embodied experience. Right? So the change is happening, the churn is happening at that level. And we are at that point, 2024, 2025, like I said, it's like really that shift. And as we are aware, we can really sense in the body, the changes. So perhaps you've been feeling it as well. There's so many different ways. So what was coming up actually, when I turned this camera on, in so many ways that it happens, I don't even know what is to be shared. But I just was feeling the call to make this video. Because the time is as such, and if you've been feeling it as well, sensing into this, because it's kind of obvious. Right? So either we'll be sensing things, again, the releasing, the dissolving, and the awakening are two sides of the same coin. So we'll feel the shift very tangibly for ourselves. At one end, we might be feeling a lot of emotions coming up, and especially if the Kali Yuga, Dwapar Yuga state of consciousness and that those beliefs are being released, then we might be feeling that, right? Or on the other hand, if we've already been aware, kind of moving through that, we might just feel the release of a relief. Right? But both of these at the level of the body are two sides of the same coin. Right? Because it's like just deeper, it's like the blossoming, right? So that was happening. So these 10 days, and this Ganesh Chaturthi especially, has been feeling so potent, so powerful, almost like everybody have been just having conversation or finding themselves at this crossroad in some way or the other, whether we can word it or not. It's sensed. It shows up on different topics, but it's sensed. So much came through on the metaphysical meaning of the symbol of Ganesha itself as form. And I'm doing a video on that. I can never really catch up because I love to put the images and the songs that are playing in my head that I listen to, and all of that coming together. But it naturally takes time. And what was coming through, especially now, I think the last few days especially, is just to be slow. So slow. There are times when you're just in the moment and you're flowing and things just get done. It's a day and you'll get so many things you just move through without even knowing. And then there are days that are like this, where it's like just stillness. Just stillness. So I wanted to kind of name that in case this needs to reach somebody. It's like the mind might frame it as you can't get things really done, but it's more, you're just called to being. Because at the energetic level, there is so much happening. However we may be sensing that, it's just a sense of desiring to just be. Kind of observe, when I go through the creative phases, right, where there's a lot of action happening, and then there are times when just like it's the masculine and the feminine phase. The feminine phase is where it's all creativity, just like so many ideas flowing. It's like I want to sing, I want to create my videos. I'm just like doing 10 things at the same time and loving all of it. And then there are days where I just don't want to get up. It's like that aspect of the masculine, like Shiva. It's like just being, like Jnani, right? It's like just, even my meditation or whatever, I don't want to hear anything. I just want to be. Just love that space. And if you're not aware of the nature of the thinking mind, I want to name that because that came up in conversation, then you can reframe that, or frame it into words like not being able to be productive, or we have something to do and that doesn't get done. So sharing with somebody, I really just want to share everything that's in my head, in my body of being. That's more accurate, actually, even more than my head. The video and what's come up for the Ganesha and this video that I'm getting done. But the pace is so slow, right? And of course, it's all practice, right? That's sadhana. Because when you know this and you align with nature, then you don't push. Don't push. Because it's not about time. It's about divine timing. There is a ebb and flow to life, and then there is I'm sharing with somebody, it's like once you really align with it, and that requires us to trust, right? It's not thinking mind's time that runs on a calendar, chronos time. This is kairos, right? You feel your way. You feel your way through the flow of energy. And the words actually that came up, I'd like to share. It's not about time, and I mean time in the way that the Dwapara Yuga mind sees it, right? Time is outside, right? So it's like a date or whatever. It is about energy. The fact about realization of what we are waking up to, our truer nature, again as Kairos, is, we've heard this, right? We've read this, I don't know, Nikola Tesla, I think. It's all about energy. It's not about outer time. That's a very different way of being. And it requires the known mind, the thinking mind, which is running on outer agenda naturally, to that's kind of one may say, surrender, soften up, to trusting the flow of this energy, of its space. Each stream of consciousness has a unique pace to it, and it's pure perfection. So to trust that. And the video that I'm really sharing is about the storm, right? We are the storm. To stand in the center of the storm, and that's actually our heart space. And I shared in my last video about Hara, right? Awakening as the Manipura throat chakra gets activated, It's the awakening, the Satyuga is the center, the state of being, that's the heart, Anahata. To stand in that centered space. And that which flows through that has a pace, has a rhythm to it. Right? And for our thinking mind, that has its own agenda maybe, right? It takes a little while to kind of trust. Because the mind, as we know, is like 10 places, especially when we've been moving as the five sensory mind. But it's like the invitation again, the feminine's invitation, Dakshinayana's invitation is to come into the heart, right? Drop down into the heart, drop down into the belly, into the hips. And to trust that above all. Because that's divine perfection. So when we move to that, then it's not moving to outer time, it's like inner timing. And it's like, it's actually so beautiful. I think maybe that's what wanted to be shared. Because there was a time when that wasn't the case, right? When we are in our Dwapara Yugas. So there's so much of angst, kind of, do I go this, that? You feel the pull of both. Even when you're doing what you love, or you're, it's that pull. But the more and more we align with nature, and that's nature, the flow of nature. And even as we deepen, each of us have a unique flow, perfection, right? There's timing to this. So, then there's a steadiness. Every moment, we're just kind of being, and the doing is arising from that. Because you can sense the theme at this time. But again, the momentum is quickening. That's the case. The more and more we get into it, and with the Visarjan that was really coming up, the significance of Ganesha's form and putting it in water literally is becoming fluid. As that form that I am, as Ganapati. Gana is a form of a kind, you see. So Gana, so for us, you can say the human consciousness can be seen as Ganapati. Right? The one who leads. Consciousness is leading as a form. Right? So when Ganapati, that form is dissolved, put in water, on Ananta Chaturdashi, right? Ananta. It means the expression that is infinite. It's kind of honoring that way, dissolving that form, sensing deeper, rising again. So that's really the importance in that sense of this time that we're going through. And root chakra, whenever root chakra is touched, right, it's the source, right? It goes deep, deep into our core itself, source of identity. So the invitation is to be aware. Again, a reminder that the flow of life is such that every experience, anything at the level of the body, we're all speaking at the relative level, right? Simply to be aware allows us to observe this. The phenomena, right? The play of Maya, everything that comes and goes and happens, that includes that happens in the body as well, and the mind that the separate self thinks is its mind. When we really look at that, it's like you can really sense. Doesn't matter what comes up, whether it's something that's triggering, whether that's something that's we love, whatever that is, all of that can be really seen for the phenomena that it is. And doesn't matter what comes, everything is awakening us to our truer space, truer self. It's an unbecoming. Once we really see, right, I'm still speaking at the relative level, because that which we are is pure consciousness, that is ineffable, unnameable, has no attributes. This play is happening within us. Whether the known mind thinks unbecoming or whether the truer self knows that it's an unbecoming, doesn't matter. Any movement is in the play of Shakti. It's a relative thing. That which I am cannot be named, already is. Right? So, but even at this level of becoming and unbecoming, it's like an unbecoming. Everything is simply a process, a celebration to wake up. To kind of really sense into that allows us to stay steady, even when the thinking mind is unsteady, even when there's a flux of emotion. Right? We see the phenomena for what it is. And of course, the theme of Dakshinayana, big, big, big. And this is kind of, one may say, almost like the peak time, this fortnight, because it's the Pitru Paksha, you see. So it's all about from now onwards. We're kind of moving into fall, right? This is the Pitru Paksha, autumn season. And it's all about allowing. That means when we align with nature, naturally, the movement of nature is such that it starts to release. Yeah, so letting go. So the theme of this fortnight, letting go, acceptance, radical acceptance. And what that means, again, I'm just very clear about that because it depends on how you frame it. It means accepting is seeing the nature of the personal mind that is not accepting something or not forgiving something. It's to accept that as well, the beauty of that play, that state of mind as well. Right? Whatever is coming up, this will just come to the questions. Acceptance, forgiveness. Right? Then as we stand at this, it's celebration. Right? It's truly the emptying of the cup. Because only the emptying of the cup allows for the experience of I am full. Which I am is eternally whole. The experience of that. So that and this Pitru Paksha about celebrating our ancestors, that's the key that comes up for this fortnight, especially where we are doing Tarpanam or Shraddh and all of that. These rituals were there for, are there for the Dwapar Yuga state of mind, where you really honor the ancestors. Basically, we're talking about the energy, because this body belongs to the lineage. We're carrying the patterns, right? And we are carrying the gifts of all of that. So in a way to kind of really see that, put what doesn't serve anymore to rest, and to be in gratitude. That's another theme, right? To be in gratitude for what we have received, and kind of to take that forward in a way that it serves. All of this is this. So this kind of, for the Dakshinayana, what is coming up was sensing this is like the peaking at this point. Yeah, so I think that's why it's going to kind of make this video tonight. And of course, like this fortnight is crazy, I feel. It's like the lunar eclipse, and then we have the equinox, right? And then we also have the feast of the holy archangels, right? That's again ascended consciousness. That's what it points towards at this time. Really get to step into it again deeper. The energy is already flowing. So the invitation again, nothing to do in that sense that if the doing happens, that urge is there, let that doing happen. But more and more to be aware. Another thing that was coming up, that's why the best thing, because when we are awakening and all of this, attention is outside. The best thing you can do, attention on yourself. That is the direct path. Attention on yourself. What's happening? So we have that, and then the ending of that with Amavasya, the new moon, on October 2nd, which is the solar eclipse as well. Right? So Whenever there is eclipse energy, we know that. It's almost like I always joke, it's like a dunking. Right? And when we are aware, like I said, when you know, right, you know this play, you don't wait for the dunk, you dive in. You prepare, you dive in. Because when you come out on the other side, you know it's a time of revelation. That is what the celebration of ascended consciousness is. If you're ready to let go, you arrive on the other side with life revealing more of itself to you. Right? Whatever that you define yourself as. It's a time of revelation, so you dive in. You dive in. And then, of course, ending with the Mahalaya Amavasya, the solar eclipse, which after that, again in October, that's why it's like the celebration for Navaratri, 9 days of the divine feminine, a new face, and Dashera, right, with Vijayadashmi, right, what we celebrate as the good over the evil. Of course, there is no good or evil. It's the dance that is danced as the illusion of unconsciousness that we as consciousness is simply playing as. We consciously forget, because it's only through that we can taste, right, sense these flavors. So all of that after that Diwali, festival of lights. So yeah, just wanted to kind of share that this is feeling. So we intimately kind of moved through these energies. Yeah, we'll be sensing all of this. So I have to have my video up soon. There's so much coming about the Ganapati one as well. But let's see how that goes. And about the Pitru Paksha, I'll make a video tomorrow. Yeah, I'll make a video tomorrow about that. I think I'll keep it at the level. What's coming through here more and more for me, while I love to do these videos and I really enjoy making them with graphics, what's really been coming up is that there is no way, once the portal is open, right, and we align with that, it comes at such a fast pace that there is no time really for me to make the video, because by the time, and I think this is coming through because if it's happening to you as well, then it's natural, right? We're all consciousness. We're just sensing it in different ways, right? So if it's coming up for you as well, like this, like it's so fast. It's really, I find it really funny. It's like I feel like I taste it, like I have these visions, and the having of these visions, or the sensing of this full bodied sensing of it and seeing of it, right? Like when we have an aha or an insight, something we might even intellectually know or even at a deeper level know, but we kind of drop deeper into it, right? It's like, I see a deeper aspect of it, right? It's like that, right? And it's just like, and when that comes through, it's like there's nothing outside of ourselves. Consciousness as mind is pure sensing. So she's tasting, right? So when we taste it and we live it, look, for me, I taste it and then it's gone. Then I'm next to the next thing, the next energy that comes through. So what happens is there are so many times I'm creating a video, it's like 70% is done. And I think this is coming up. If it's coming up, it's serving something. So if it's coming up before you as well, it'll come up, maybe you're writing a blog, or maybe you're doing something else. But you think, maybe you find, the more we align, we're shifting so fast. I really want to name this. Yes, I think this is it. Right? We become fluid, that there is no landing space, which is the nature of true self. There's no present moment, right? We know that. So the more and more fluid we become, it's like just so presence, that's where awareness and experience become one. And you realize that there is no experience outside at all. That I am awareness and experience are one. It's like you move, you move, you move. And depending on how you taste it, right? Because we're all unique flavors. And that means that we're here to uniquely, there is a way that consciousness moves. If you're here to hold space, you might be more steadier, holding space like that. But for some of us, if you're like the one who is bringing in visions and this kind, we'll move through it so fast that there's no time to even in that way, right? Because we're becoming timeless. We're in the center. So it's like literally we are living it. We are living it. We are in and out. We are in and out. And there's no landing space to even look back. Right? So for me, it's like I write. Right? It's like flowing. So even if I'm just writing. So I have books and notebooks of like writings. But if you're timeless in presence, you're not even going back to those writings. Because you're not conceptually doing it, right? Whatever we need to know arises in the moment. And whatever has risen as this insight or whatever as this knowing that arises, which you may have written down, there's no landing space, so you're not waiting. So, and I share, like, I was writing books. I have like 7 books, 8 books. But that there's no this thing to even finish or like publish them. They're all in the journals. Probably maybe that's for you as well. Do you have that where you've written, you're writing? That writing itself is the living of it, right? Because for me, when I'm writing it, it's like more insight. It's more like you go into this, what you call it sometimes like the rabbit hole. The delight of that. You're living and you see and you sense and there are these ahas and everything beautiful, and you want to share it because you're called to share it. But many times there's no landing space. Or at least that's what it is for me. So this was really coming up on to share. So what's coming up even for this going on forward is like when it comes through, I'm just going to create the video. Because while a part of me loves, I cannot tell you how much it loves writing, or even more than that, like creating the videos with like this whole experience with the music that's playing in my head and the pictures that I see and the whole thing of that. If I wait for that, it will not be done, because by the time I taste it, it's gone to the next thing. So one of the things that came through as well during this time is that just to kind of do this. Why not just allow to be on the screen and just share whatever comes through. So live it here right now with you, because the one self, whenever and wherever you find it, it's perfect. And sensing it together in some ways. So that's it. I'll just leave it at that. So wishing us all a beautiful night or day, wherever you are, whenever you may find this, and to the fortnight ahead, the sensing of it, however it is showing up for you. Much love to living and celebrating the awakened body, mind, world, the one divine self.